What's up YouTube, it's Saiyan here coming at you with another video. This is my first Transformers trading card game deck profile that I have for you guys. Had to go with the mini cassettes, man. I just love these little things, and I'm kind of a Decepticon Sean P kind of guy, so I had to go with Soundwave for now. Of course, I am thinking about a blaster deck as well, but let's check out Soundwave here. So, first of all, the lineup. We start with, of course, Soundwave, Bosso, and Ravage under Soundwave, and we have Raider Aimless out as well. There's some really cute, funky things we can do in the deck with these guys, but let's just really quickly go through our robots here. So your starting stars are increased by one for each mini cassette you have under this card, which allows us to play Raider Aimless, who is a 7-star unit. These guys are both 5 stars, giving us 20. 27 is our lineup here. And then the mini cassettes start under this guy. It's a 0-15-2, meh, not a big deal. But when he flips, he's a 4-15-2, which is cool. And you can also deploy, or you have to deploy a mini cassette from under this guy onto the battlefield in bot mode, and that's just really cool. Of course, we had to go with the 80s style as well. So we have Busso. He's really good. Being a ranged character will give us a couple of fun little things we can do here, and when he attacks, we can play a blue weapon. So just extra ability, drop one more card in your turn, pretty good stuff. On the other side, he's got stealth, which can be just good for in case he's limping on damage and you're just waiting for a card to deal with that particular problem. Our other mini cassette is Ravage. Ravage is melee, so he's not as fun as Busso. With my playstyle, I kind of like range cards. That's just what I'm saying. But he's got Pierce 2, which is fantastic, and each of my characters that has 10 stars or more gets tough 1. So Soundwave will get tough 1 when Ravage is on the bot side. And same as Busso, when he's a cassette, he's got stealth. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention on Busso, I'm gonna go back to Busso. When you flip to this mode, you can give Pierce 2 to one of your characters, which is also really cool. Pierce is basically how we're looking to win the game with this deck. So yeah, this one, when you flip into the cassette mode, probably one of the most fun things that you can move a weapon from one of your characters to another, which is just so good. Now we have finally a Battle Master, and guess what? He will be a weapon, so we can throw him around. You kind of want to make sure that this guy dies as soon as possible, or well, at least your opponent's attacks are focusing on Raider as much as you can deal with that. So whenever you have to, you swing with Raider first, and then keep these guys back just to make sure that he's soaking up the damage to turn into the Manifold Ion Particle Blaster. But on his bot side, he's a 3-8-0. He has tough 3, so he flips 3 cards when defending. In this deck, that pretty much means that he has at least 3 defense, if not 4. And then when he turns, he becomes a Battle Master. Fantastic Battle Master, no less. +3 attack to whoever he's attached to. When the upgraded character attacks and you flip at least 3 blue, you deal 3 damage to the defender. That's just amazing. And if this would leave the battlefield, put it into the KO area instead. We will be able to get this guy back. We also have a couple of cards for that. So just perfectly synergizes with everything we're trying to do in this deck. Let's check that part out then. So first of all, I don't have access to all the battle cards, so I might, there's definitely some sort of design space to make the deck better. I have one copy of the bigger they are. One of your characters gets +2 attack until the end of turn. While it's attacking an enemy which has more stars than it gets Pierce 4. This can be particularly good for Ravage with that Pierce 2. hitting him with a 6 pierce is nothing to joke, nothing to laugh at. He's definitely going to have 3, 4, 5 attack as well, so that 5 attack is going to go through. If you, for any reason, would flip an orange, which is highly unlikely, but you could get in 6 pierce damage as well here. I definitely want to run more bigger they are, but there is basically, negotiation to be made here, because Laser Cutlass is a blue weapon, so it can be changed around with Busso, and it can be played with Busso. So I think Laser Cutlass is probably a little bit better in terms of long play. But I would if I would stick with one, the other one would go to the side deck potentially, if I need a little bit more Pierce reinforcement. But yeah, these are both one-offs for now. This will obviously change in the future depending what other cards I get. 3 copies of Leap into Battle, a very solid wave 1 common, just getting +3 to attack with, but also it's a blue card, which makes it ideal for our deck. So 3 copies of this for now. We run 3 handheld blasters just for the double blue pip. If we have to put this on one of our bots, we're probably not doing too well. But still, remember guys, it can be free play with Busso, it can be moved around with Busso, so could be important. I'm currently running 3 extra petting, just so I can put a lot of extra toughness on Soundwave. Particularly if you got 3 extra petting out with Ravage also giving it a tough, that's basically +4 defense for Soundwave. So that's pretty amazing. That can be pretty useful. And I just like the card, to be fair. I like that it's green, so it's quite easy to get them into the hands. And that just the fact that they stack, I quite like that. I'm trying this out for now. If it really isn't too good, then obviously we can put other cards in here. This is definitely more of a side deck kind of card, and again, just going back to the first 2, probably if I have more copies, Scoundrel's Blaster will be relegated to side deck. But for now, it is in there as a mainstay. Just the +2 attack is good, of course, on a blue card that can be taken into the hand. And if we do go up against an Autobot, we get Pierce 2, which again is very important for us in this deck. We don't deal too much damage, but the damage we deal, we want it to get through. Running 3 armed hovercrafts. I recently went up from 2 to 3 because I obtained the 3rd copy. I absolutely love this card. I adore this card. That's what I was referring to, saying that I really like what the ranged cards do. We have 2 ranged guys. Busso and Aimless are both ranged, and the fact that we can not only play them for free with Busso onto either himself or onto Raider Aimless, but also we can move this around. So even if Aimless gets knocked out, and we, let's say, have a Ravage down, we can move this onto Ravage, and then flippy, come back to that again, move it back to Busso again, so we will deal that 1 damage again, because you put it onto a ranged character. Every time you do that, it's going to activate the effect of dealing 1 damage to each enemy, which is again just really fantastic, particularly on a blue card. It just synergizes with what we're trying to do here. And it's also +1 damage, so it has everything we want. A bit of a card draw here, Battlefield Report. This is for now the only secret action we're running in the deck, if I remember correctly, yes. When revealed, draw 2 cards and put a card from your hand on top of your deck. This is a really good way to stack our handheld blasters and potentially security checkpoints as well. So we're flipping those double blues in case they are in our hand, or we draw into that, and we have this ability to stack the deck. Every deck needs some ability to stack the top of your deck. So we're running Battlefield Report. Cool card. Callous Leadership is just such a nice, funky card, and it works an absolute treat with Recover Cassette. It is just it's almost that good that it almost feels like you're cheating when you do pull it off. Um, Recover Cassette is a blue pip. Callous Leadership is a white pip. So just already they do exactly what we're trying to do in the deck. Callous Leadership moves up to 5 damage counters from one of our Decepticon leaders, which of course will be Soundwave in case he would get damage, to one of that has 8 stars or more, to one of your other characters. So we can either, if we want to flip Raid or Aimless, then we can just put. By the way, one thing to say about Callous Leadership is it can move more than the health of the Transformer onto the card, as far as I understand. So if Soundwave has 5 damage, Aimless has 7, you can move 5 off it to then activate him, obviously turning him into the blaster. But also what's really cool, and probably even more of a fun play, is Callous Leadershiping damage onto Buzzsaw or Ravage, and then recover cassetting them, and basically moving it back under Soundwave, getting rid of all the damage on the cassette, and then you can also repair 2 damage from from Soundwave or any one of the other guys that's on the field. So it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm literally, one of the reasons why I'm running the deck is just this interaction is just so much fun to pull off. Moving on, I am running 3 Pep Talk for now. Drawing cards is good. Drawing cards wins games in any card game. We do have, of course, Battlefield Report to draw cards, stack our deck. We have Pep Talk to draw 2 cards. Hey, you can't hurt, right? But if you got any better suggestions, then please let me know. I'm not adverse to replacing Pep Talk. We are running 3 rollouts just for those flippy actions. It also gives us pretty much our only orange, in fact, our only orange pip in the deck. Flips each of our characters from bot mode to alt mode. That is particularly good because, of course, you kind of want to flip this guy back so you can get another mini cassette out. But also, if these guys are in bot mode, flipping them into alt mode will then, of course, give them both stealth, and you get the effects activated from both of these guys as well. And if you haven't flipped that turn yet, you could go ahead and just reflip Soundwave, and of course then you would still have the Pierce 2 on this guy, of course, and you're just protecting these 2, leaving of course this guy to be the main target. But then if you have the previous cards in your hand, you can sort any potential damage out of that guy as well. So I really like this card. Okay, just a little bit more flippy action. We have 2 escape routes. One of our characters is flipped from bot mode to alt mode. It does pretty much the same as rollout, but this actually we can get into our hands, and it can also flip us more defensive blue pip cards. Again, I'm trying this card out. I think it's a little bit better than the set 1 card that can flip from any mode, because I kind of think that with your 1 flip, if you really want to keep flipping something back and forth, you can spend that 1 flip to just take boss. So you flip it into bot mode, you can swing with the guy, play a weapon, and then you can play escape route next turn if you still have a turn, and then change him into stealth, which means, of course, he won't be able to be attacked for that turn if you have if you do have Soundwave, of course, turn or something like that. So escape route, I think, just complements rollout really well. We have 2 security checkpoints, and this is technically a 3rd copy. I'm running a Brainstorm here, but this is a 3rd security checkpoint. Predominantly ran for the double blue pips, but I also love the idea of looking into our opponent's hand and scrap all upgrades from it. If everything goes well and how the upgrades are set up mostly in the deck, we shall have a lot of our upgrades in play anyway. With the extra ability of course, Buzzsaw being able to drop our blue weapons whenever he attacks. We shouldn't really have many stuck in our hands, and even if we do lose one or two, we still have information what our opponent has, and if they've been holding on to upgrades or they just drew a lot of new cards, hitting them with a security checkpoint is really good. Brainstorm, I used to run it in the deck, but I just never really had enough draw power to keep the actions running, so I went back to well, 1, but realistically this is going to be a 0. I think Brainstorm probably has a different place in the meta with well, my access to sort of set 1 to wave 1, 2, 3 cards that I currently have. Guys, let me know whether there's something fantastic in wave 4 or 5 that I definitely should be running here. Getting towards the end, of course, the obligatory upgrade removal. 2 Vaporize, just scrapping any enemy upgrade, really good because it is blue. We like it for that. And then finally, as I said, we do have some ways to get Aimless back from our KO. With 2 copies of Quartermaster, we can either move an upgrade from a character to another, or we can put a battlefield upgrade from our KO pile onto one of our characters. So this is why you shouldn't really be worried about losing Aimless. He is such a fantastic weapon. You're always going to be dealing 3 damage to the defender, and that +3 yellow is just super good. It fits into this deck like a glove on a hand. So it has to be red. It almost it's so perfect that you can run 2 cassettes, which is actually enough for the deck. We're not really losing out too much shenanigans not running the 3 cassette. And just having access to Aimless, basically a tough 3 guy, he's pretty much like having 3 defense, and he really complements these other guys who are lower on defense. Particularly when you swing with him first, you can end up actually having like I flip this guy with like sometimes flip into white, flip into checkpoint, and you end up giving 7 blue pips to the guy with the top 3. So it's just so good. If you really want to be nasty, you will start to like just always swing with Aimless first, and you could go ahead and just put extra paddings on the guy as well, and you will end up having just like 10. You will be flipping like 10 cards for this guy every time in defense, which is just it's ridiculously good. So this is it, guys. My first Transformers TCG deck profile. I absolutely love this deck. I probably would say, just watching more competitive deck profiles on YouTube, this is probably not a super competitive deck. In fact, for some reason people say like Blaster is really good, so I'm gonna definitely go and dig into that. But yeah, I just love this deck, and that's it. Peace out, YouTube. Busty and signing out.